I'm now joined on the phone live from Riyadh in Saudi Arabia by John Sfakianakis. He's chief economist at Banque Saudi Fransi. Thanks very much for being with us this morning, John. So first of all, what is the biggest economic fallout that we're going to see? I suppose the tourism industry is going to suffer quite badly.
Well, absolutely. This depends on, of course, how long this continues. If this is a 3-month-long event, this is going to destroy in many ways the tourism industry, because now tourism is at its peak in Egypt, and it's a very important contributor. Last year it contributed to around $12 to $13 billion. So this is very important for Egypt as an earner, and also as an employer, because it employs a lot of people in Egypt. A lot of the Egyptians depend on tourism.
What about the implications for foreign direct investment? This is another very important part of the Egyptian economy.
Well, as the political crisis unfolds, definitely viewers and investors are going to look at Egypt in a different way. And this is a credibility issue for the Egyptian government and the Egyptian economy. For many years, they have been trying to assert themselves as an emerging market economy, but now within the last week, they have destroyed it.
Now, what about the Suez Canal? Could there be another crisis here? Is this canal that controls 1/10 of world trade, is that in danger here?
Well, you're right. It's a very strategic canal. It's very important for international trade. Nearly 2 million barrels of oil cross the canal on a daily basis. No, I do not see any threat whatsoever to the viability and existence of the canal. The military is going to do its job. It will safeguard the canal, so there is no danger whatsoever.
Okay, tell us a bit more about the Egyptian economy. I mean, you spent several years there studying it, and we know that part of the reason for this uprising is people's discontent with high unemployment rates and poverty. Well,
absolutely. Egypt has been having structural problems, very high unemployment. It has extremely high youth unemployment of 30%, and that is a huge problem for the Egyptian economy. Poverty, 20% of the population is below the poverty line, and another 20% is a little bit above that line. And you have a lot of corruption. During the last 15 years, the cronies of the government have amassed a lot of wealth. So the difference between the haves and the have-nots has increased, and the middle class has shrunk over the last years. Definitely what you're seeing today is something that has been going on for many years, and Egyptians are fed up. But the problems that Egypt has are not going to be fixed quickly.
Right. Now, John, for investors that are perhaps looking for an opportunity here, could we actually see regime change in Egypt and perhaps the democracy going to that country? Could we actually see that be a good thing in the long run for the economy?
Well, the economic problems are deep, and whoever takes over, he's not going to find an easy task to tackle these problems. So my answer to that is that it's not going to be a very easy task to tackle. It's going to take an enormous amount of time to address issues that have been there since the 1950s and 60s. The private sector is not entrepreneurial. You have state-operated companies. You have a mentality which is supporting the public sector rather than the private sector. So you have a socialist capitalist mix going on in Egypt. So whoever takes over, he's not going to fix the unemployment problems in a jiffy, in 1 year or so. These are very long, drawn-out problems.
A socialist and capitalist mix. John Sfakianakis, chief economist there at the Banque Saudi Fransi. Thank you for joining us.